Hi, hello all. I'm Soumya. I'm working as assistant professor in the Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science in SNS College of Technology. Welcome to this session on limits of short-term memory, a key concept in understanding how people perceive and interpret the information in data visualization. This topic is extremely important because every dashboard we design and every chart we prepare must work within the natural limits of human memory. Understanding short-term memory limits. Let's first understand what short-term memory actually means. Short-term memory, also called working memory, is the part of our brain responsible for holding the small amounts of information temporarily, usually for just a few seconds. Research shows that humans can typically hold only 5 to 9 items in short-term memory at a time. This is known as Miller's law. Because short-term memory is limited, anything that requires too much mental load becomes difficult to understand. And these directly affects how we design the visualization. Introduction. In data visualization, our goal is not just to display the data, but to make sure users can process it easily. If we present too many colors, too many numbers, or too many categories together, users begin to struggle, not because the data is difficult, but because their memory capacity isn't enough to handle that much data at once. So, understanding memory limits help us to design the visuals that are intuitive and effortless to read. Human short-term memory. Human short-term memory works like a small mental workspace. It is fast, but it has very limited storage. It can only temporarily hold information like a phone number you just heard, a color pattern you just saw, or a name someone just mentioned. In visualization, when users see a graph, their memory tries to hold the colors, labels, values, trends, and legends all at the same time. When there is too much to remember, users experience the cognitive load. Our job as visualization designers is to prevent that. Let's we see why memory limits affect the visualization. Visualization is essentially a communication tool, but communication breaks when the viewer has to remember too many things. For example, if a bar chart has 15 colors, the user must keep matching the colors within the categories. If a line chart has too many lines, the user has to track the multiple trends at once. If a dashboard has too many KPIs, the user forgets the previous numbers while trying to understand the new ones. Memory overload leads to confusion, slow decision making, and misinterpretation. That's why simplicity is always powerful. Now let's we begin with the problem statement. The main problem is that the most dashboards and charts demand more memory than users can handle. Designers often include too much information on a single screen, multiple graphs, too many labels, too many numbers. As a result, users struggle to process the data meaningfully. So our design challenges become how do we present the information in a way that fits the natural limits of human memory. Let's see the real examples of memory overload. Let me give some real examples. A pie chart with 12 slices quickly become impossible to read. A dashboard showing 20 KPIs in one screen is more overwhelming than helpful. A line chart comparing 15 products creates a tangled, unreadable mess. Dashboards with long legends force the users to look back and forth and straining the memory. These examples show that when we ignore the memory limits, we create the visual that frustrate rather than help. In design thinking, the first step is to empathize. We must understand what users go through when they look at the visualization. We observe what users hesitate, where they get confused, and which parts they ignore, which parts they forget instantly. By empathizing, we learn that the real issue is not the data, it is the cognitive load placed on the user. Define. From our observation, we define the core problem like this. Users cannot retain too many visual elements at once. Therefore, dashboard must have limited colors, simplified layouts, and fewer KPIs per screen and visuals that guide the attention naturally. The goal is to align the visualization with how the brain works instead of fighting against it. Next phase is ideate phase. In the ideation stage, we brainstorm the solutions to reduce the memory load. We think about ideas like grouping the related information and using the progressive disclosure, showing the details only when needed, and using the consistent colors for familiar categories, and replacing the text with icons where appropriate, and highlighting only the most important trend. Ideation helps us to generate multiple ways to make the visuals easier to remember. Next stage is prototype stage. In the prototype stage, we bring our ideas into tools like Tableau or Power BI. Here we experiment trying the charts with fewer categories and use only 3 to 5 main colors and reduce the number of text labels and add the tool tips for additional detail. And here prototyping helps us to test what works best for the human mind. Next stage is testing stage. In the testing stage, we let users interact with our prototype. We observe, are they able to interpret the data or a chart quickly? Do they remember the key values? And do they get confused or get overloaded? And do they require the extra time to understand? Here, testing validates whether our design truly respects the memory limits or not. To summarize this topic, human short-term memory has strict limits. Most users can hold only 5 to 9 pieces of information at a time. Overloaded visualization causes poor understanding and slow decisions. By following the design thinking process, empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test, we can create the visuals that match the human cognitive capacity. Always remember, a good visualization is not the one that shows everything, but the one that shows what the users can actually remember. Thank you for watching.